Now, the most exciting spin-off that's probably going to be coming out for the Walking Dead universe is the Walking Dead Rick and Michonne spin-off, or the Walking Dead Summit, what most people like to call it. Now, of course, the reasoning for that is that Rick Grimes is finally coming back, and why wouldn't you be excited for that, right? It's Rick Grimes. Now, the story of this spin-off is that Rick is taken by the CRM, like how we see in Season 9, and in Season 11 as well, and Rick is trying to escape the CRM, but he's being held there, and he's just not able to escape. And Michonne finds a clue in Season 10 that Rick is still alive, so then she goes and she looks for him. But I'm not going to be talking about that today in the video. What I'm going to be talking about is that we got confirmation a couple of months back that Rick is going to be going back to his red machete phase, aka Season 4 and Season 5 Rick, before they make it to Alexandria. Big bearded Rick that kills without any thought, let's just call it that. Now, today's video will be explaining why does Rick really go back to that phase and what really motivates him to go back to that phase. And I'll be explaining it, I'll be showing proof, and I'll be showing the best possible way that Rick could actually be influenced, because I think that this will get a lot of people excited and it will make a lot of people happy if this truly happens. So stay tuned. Now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. It helps a lot for the channel, and you know, for just being a new YouTuber and having 3 videos up, I am really grateful for the support y'all are giving me, because if you look at the views I have for the Walking Dead Dead City speculations video, it's almost hitting 1,000 views, and you know, that's more than I could even ever dream of, so thank you for that. Now let's get into the video. Now, as I mentioned before in the video, Rick Grimes is going to be going back to his red machete phase. This has been confirmed by AMC themselves, and some people think that the CRM has something to do with it. Either Rick sees something sinister going on behind the scenes in the CRM, or, you know, just because of him being imprisoned and, you know, being tortured, he feels the need to go back to that phase. Now, I have another theory on why does Rick go back to his red machete phase, and I personally think that it's Shane Walsh that is influencing Rick. Now, I know that this is a really far-fetched theory, but there is some proof behind this, and that's because in Season 9, in Rick Grimes' final episode, Rick actually sees Shane, and Shane tells Rick to go back to his red machete phase. Now, Shane does actually specify to Rick what is he talking about. He just mentions that how in the church, how he killed Gareth with the red machete, or how he bit off Joe's throat. Now, Shane wants Rick to be like that. And I do have a theory on how does he start seeing Shane, or how does he start being influenced by Shane. Now, I think that being locked up in the CRM is going to have a toll on Rick's mind, like how it did in Season 3 when Lori died and he started seeing Lori everywhere. He starts shouting and screaming, and you know, he's just not right. So I think that's going to happen because the CRM is going to torture Rick to the point where he gets all this aggression and all this rage, and it just has a big mental toll on him, and he starts seeing Shane. So it's going to be in the similar fashion like how he saw Shane in Woodbury, right? And you know, he just keeps on seeing Shane, but like, unlike Woodbury, Shane actually talks to Rick like how Rick saw in the hallucination. And you know, if Rick even tries to spare anyone in the CRM, or if he's trying to escape and he's trying to spare anyone, Shane comes right beside him and he's like, no, kill this person. So I think that that's going to be a big part in this show, and Rick is going to be seeing Shane a lot, and Shane is going to be forcing Rick to go back to his red machete phase. Now, when Shane was alive in The Walking Dead, he was a pretty complex character, but you know, if you see his angle right now, like after finishing the show, or even if you watched until Season 5, right? Because in Season 5 you can see that the group turned more like Shane, especially Rick. And you could actually see which angle is he coming from. He was way ahead of the group. His mindset was way ahead of the group. And you know, now that you look at it, it made sense for some of the choices he made. I mean, he wanted to kill Rick for Lori and Carl. That was a little too much. But you know, other than that, when it came to surviving, Shane was top dog in that group in that time. And Shane wanted Rick to be like that as well. Even he did state a couple of times that Rick is not made for this world. So also, Rick does have the guilt of killing Shane. He does say that in the hallucination, that he's sorry about killing Shane. And also, you know, he mentions Shane so many times in the show. Probably out of any other classic character of The Walking Dead, Shane is mentioned most. So, you could see that Shane is going through Rick's head 24/7. Not really 24/7, but he's always thinking about Shane. So again, Shane could be talking to Rick and influencing Rick to go back to his red machete phase. And also, Rick doesn't really have full closure on Shane's death. He still feels guilty, again, like how I mentioned in the video, that he feels guilty, he feels just bad about killing Shane. So this show could be a perfect way for a real send-off to Shane's character, for Rick to actually get over his death and, cope with it. Also, I got another theory on who could influence Rick, but this is the total opposite way. Now, where Rick sees Shane, he keeps on seeing Shane, telling him to kill, to go back to his red machete phase. We also see Carl. Now, Carl also shows up in Rick's head, and I think Chandler Riggs will be up for this role because, he came in the finale of season 11 as a little cameo. That on one side, Shane tells Rick to kill, but on the other side, Carl tells Rick to spare the person and, to be the better man. My mercy prevails, my wrath, the reason why Rick even spared Negan was for Carl, and it would be an amazing way for Carl to come in the show, to come in Rick's head, and just to tell Rick to be the better person, and to not kill anyone, and to give him hope that he's gonna get out of this. And again, it could be like different times, like you don't have to have Shane and Carl being in Rick's head at the same time, because then it just gets a little confusing. But again, it'd be interesting to see which choice does Rick take, because if the CRM are truly evil and Rick believes that they're truly evil, he's gonna believe Shane. Now, if the CRM have good people, like how the Commonwealth, they had some good people, they had civilians, and maybe not the people on top were that good, but the civilians were good, and even the soldiers, some of the soldiers were good as well. So if we see that dynamic in the show, if Rick thinks the person is good, he will spare them, and that is because of Carl. But if the person is bad in front of him, a CRM soldier or a civilian, and then he sees Shane telling him to kill the person. And personally, I think that's really cool. That's a really cool idea. It'd make everyone very happy to see Carl and Shane back in Rick's show. And and it'd be a really good send off to both of these characters, because in Rick's flashback, and in his hallucination, we did not see Carl. Carl was not there. I think AMC didn't want to pay Chandler Riggs for that, and that is the main reason why they even killed him off in the show, is because they didn't want to pay him all that much. So again, I think they learned from their mistakes. They're gonna bring Shane and they're gonna bring Carl in a role which is a conflict in Rick's head, and just in his psyche. So again, it'd be really cool seeing that. Now, at the time of this recording, The Walking Dead Summit, or the Rick and Michonne spinoff, is done shooting. This news came out about a day or two ago, and now I am aware that there are a lot of leaks about this show. There are a lot of pictures behind the scenes, and John Berthel and Chandler Riggs were not on set. And again, this is just a theory. This whole video is just theory and speculation. This is a very unlikely scenario, but if they want to, they don't even need to have the actors there. They could just have their voices. They could just have them voice over in Rick's head. Even that would be very cool also, right? Because most of the viewers of the show are fans of The Walking Dead. They have watched all 11 seasons. So there are fans, and they know, of course, they know Shane and Carl. So you could just have their voiceovers in Rick's head. You could have John Berthel just voicing some lines, for the show, or have Chandler Riggs voice some lines of the show. How, again, in Rick's hallucination, he heard Morgan, and also he heard Abraham as well. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. You don't have to have the actors there just for this reason. You could even have their voiceovers as well. So that's all for today's video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and just comment down if you guys like the theory, because I don't have a script for my videos. I just talk off the top of my head. So everything that I said in the video was off the top of my head, so the theory wasn't that in depth, but I thought it would be a cool idea to make a video on it because I didn't see anyone else making a video on it. So if you guys liked the video, please comment down, and comment down your theories on The Walking Dead, and maybe I can make videos on them. I could give you guys some credit, right? Or I could add upon those theories. So again, thank you.